Hi, welcome. I'm Reverend Patricia Caginello from Sacred Stories Publishing, and this is day 2 of our author summit, and we are kicking it off with Joy. Joy and the author of 30 Days to Me, a working book to living life serendipitously, to get that word down, with author Lynn Reilly. So welcome back, Lynn.
Thank you.
I'm excited. I don't think we could have planned this any better that we were kicking off day 2, literally starting with joy, reconnecting with joy, and with you and your brand new book, 30 Days to Me.
Yes, thank you. I love this book. Let me show you a picture of my book. Hopefully I can get this where I can get it in the camera.
Yep, that's perfect.
You see it?
It's a beautiful, beautiful book, 30 Days to Me. Share with us what your book is about.
Well, my book is about living life serendipitously. And actually, the book is very, I think about this often, like kind of trying to find out the summary of the book and how do I sum it up, because it's multi-layered, and as life is multi-layered, right? So the book, it's on the front and it says a working book to, towards living a serendipitous life. Well, what does that mean? To me, that means living life in the flow, living with joy, living with unexpected joy, allowing life to be what it is and making the most out of it. And for me, I'm a professional counselor. I'm a master energy therapist. I'm always looking at what's the deeper meaning to our experiences. What about this experience can we learn from and grow from? And so a big aspect of the book is looking at that, tracking, looking for proof of how is life filled with unexpected joy? How do we know that for sure? So that's part of the book. The other part of the book is this guide to reconnection to self, reconnection to our joy, because my belief is we are meant to live in joy. That is living serendipity. That is allowing life to be what it is and finding the joy within and finding the joy outside of us as well. And so what this book does is it tracks the serendipitous moments of the day, the good things that are happening to us each day, as well as the joy that we are experiencing on purpose. And we are consciously attempting to, or making it happen, to live with joy. That's part of the book as well. And what that does is that reconnects to self. Also, when reconnecting to self, we start to look at ourselves a little bit deeper. So for me, as I said, my profession is I'm a therapist, I'm a professional counselor. So I knew for me that it was really important, in order to help or support anyone else, I had to be able to look at myself first and understand myself. So I wasn't putting all my crap on anybody else. I had to know the difference. And so that was actually the process of this book. Was I was at this point of life where I was looking at, what does it mean to love myself? What does it mean to like me? What does it mean to live with joy? And I was in a place of not feeling it as much as I felt like I wanted to. And I had just gotten divorced. I had quit my job. I was starting a business. I was doing all these big, scary things, and it felt good. I thought, this is it. This is what living with joy is. This is what's following your heart. And I was following my heart, but still something was missing. And so what I recognized was, in this moment of deep despair, I think that many of us have felt, maybe not always deep, but certainly despair, of frustration, of what was I missing? Here I was doing everything I thought I was supposed to be doing, but something was missing. And what I heard was that inner voice, that intuition said, you're missing you. And so I didn't know what that meant. We talk about looking within, learning to love yourself. And I said, yeah, that's what I'm doing. That's what I want to do. I don't actually know what that means. Like, oh, of course, I'm going to love myself. What does that mean? I don't know. So this became my process of digging down, looking at myself. What does joy mean to me? What do I like? What am I drawn to? That kind of stuff. And so it started as this process of looking at that, looking at myself. What brings me joy? And what am I not doing that brings me joy? What am I actively working against, as opposed to what am I actively working for? And so that's the sort of the process of how this book even came to be. Looking at myself, reconnecting with myself at a time that I did not feel connected with myself. And my goal was, for me, to learn this for myself, to understand what my joy was, reconnecting with myself looked like, and then to teach, to support, to come up with a way to share that with other people, because that's always going to be has been and always will be my long-term goal, is to share everything I learn and experience, because just like everybody else, I want to feel good. I want to feel my own joy. I want to feel that life really is meant for me. And even though I believe this, I truly believe it, I wanted proof. And so that's what I created. That's what this book created. I created this book for me to share with other people. Right. That whole connection. So what ended up happening, sorry.
No, I was just going to say, let me just interject just for a second, because you've shared so much, and I think it's important that people understand a little bit more of the context of the book too. So it's called a working book, work-ing, right? Because it's important that we do our work. So everything you talked about, but you didn't feel it. And so so you created this actual 30-day process that allows people to dig in, allows them to kind of do the work so they can move to the place of feeling it. Right. So do me a favor, just hold the book up again, and let's just talk about the construct of the book, because it really is. We didn't even want to call it a journal because it's more than a journal. We didn't want to call it a book because it's more than a book. It really is a working book, right? That you read, you process, you get invested in emotion. You have your story in it. You invite other people to dig into their story, but then you have the work part, you have the journal part in it too, right? So share a little bit about how each day is constructed so people understand. So this process, what they would go through.
So the process is, because you're right, that it is, and going back to what I was saying about what does that mean to look within, and that's what I wanted to create, this sort of how-to guide. What does that mean to look within? And so, for me, this was mine, and it's what I share with my clients, sort of my own curriculum as well, of what does it mean to look within. So in this working book, I'll show you how in each chapter, it starts with whatever the topic of the day. And the day it's a day. Each chapter is a day, this 30-day process. And so it starts with a quote that sort of outlines whatever the day is discussing, and then it talks about sort of a general statement of that topic, and then it talks about my own experience or my viewpoints of my experience with that topic or process, and then goes on to ask very deep introspective questions. And I know they're deep introspective questions because that's how I roll. And I love giving these questions.
Get ready, right? Readers, get ready for the deep introspective questions, because
it is. It's dig deep. It's dig deep. And I love that, because dig deep, like, let's go to the core. Let's figure this out. Like, let's heal and live from the ground up. And so we do that. And so it moves into questions about, so here's about me. And then it's about you. What's your experience? I want you to answer these questions. I want you to look at mine. You have something to relate it to, something to compare it to. And then look at yours. How does that feel for you? How do you answer these questions? And looking within and looking to see what you feel and what you're thinking, because it is about you. And then after the questions, the dig deep questions, it's about the reflection. So this is a list question, but it's a reflection of the day. So each day has its own topic. And I encourage you to, when you do this process, my biggest, I'll call it a push, is that you commit to 30 days of committing to you, committing to joy, waking up every day and saying, what am I going to do for me today? And so that's the overall commitment. All the dig deep stuff is like a super awesome bonus. So, whether you do it each day or you do it once a week or whatever the case is fine. Whatever works for you is what works for you. But at the end of each day is a reflection question to talk about, what brought you joy today? What were the unexpected gifts that happened? Did you live in the moment? Did you allow things to happen? Did you force them to happen? How did that feel? So it's really processing the everyday parts of life to look at your habitual patterns. How do you think on a regular basis? Are you looking at the positives? Or are you saying, man, I'm always looking at the gaps in my life as opposed to what's already there? So it becomes a focus of noticing the good and the positive, connecting with that joy, doing what brings you joy actively, but also gives you this option to dig even deeper than that.
Right. And what's beautiful about it, I'm going to give you a second to find one of your favorite days that you want to share, or a couple topics, so they have an idea of what these days actually are like. But what's beautiful about it, and what I love about it, and what I think separates your book from so many others, is that you actually are right there in the process. You're not just telling people what they should do. You're just not sharing, oh, you need to learn yourself, and here's the ways for you to learn yourself. You're there on the floor with them saying, I didn't love myself. I didn't feel good today. This is what happened, you know? This is my first.
I didn't even know what that meant.
Yeah, I'm a mess. And it's okay if you are too, right? We're all there, right? It's real. It's real. And it's what we need. Yeah. That's what I loved about it, is what we need, because we all, if we are really truly honest with ourselves, at some point in life are where you were, right? And or we could just feel, I can't tell you how many people I know who have an amazing life. They're not in deep despair, and they're still not happy. They still say, I don't know what's wrong, but I'm just not connecting with the joy. And they almost feel guilty because they have a great life and they feel they should be happier than they are. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy.
Absolutely.
You know, it's crazy what we create. But there's what I found through even all my own processes, is what I found is that there are real reasons you may not be feeling the joy. There are real reasons you're in despair, and there's nothing wrong with you. This is something that you need to discover. I've gone through that process just recently, Lynn. I have to tell you, it was like huge just to say, oh my gosh, I can stop. Let me give you a big one. I can't tell you, and then as the counselor and master energy therapist and author of 30, you can tell me what you think, but I just went through this whole process of realizing that it was okay for me to acknowledge that I've actually suffered traumas in my life, as even in my childhood, even if they weren't these huge, horrific traumas of other people. You know, I think we almost have this process that we say, well, my trauma is not as bad as yours, so I can't really own it or feel it because I feel silly feeling bad. I feel silly being in despair. I feel like I don't deserve this trauma because their trauma is worse. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Right? And so when I could finally go, oh, no, but it's okay, because you know what? It was my trauma, and it was a trauma. I don't need to put it on a scale. And I could really dig into that and process it and get to the love and joy part again. Life-changing. And that's what I believe your book allows people to do. It gives them that.
Absolutely. Looking at those experiences, looking at those belief systems, bringing them to surface. You know, we're in this culture that's sort of, we talk about, let yourself feel. Oh, no. We don't let ourselves feel. We're still in that shove it down. And I'm in that place of bring it up, feel it, bring it on. You're a mess. Awesome. Let me see your messy self. Oh my gosh, I'm a mess too. This is what it looks like. Let's be messy, embrace it, and then move on from it. Let's learn from it. Let's see it for what it is, and then let's grow. Let's take out all the cool kick-ass parts and say, yes, that was such a good experience. Then we keep growing. They're all layered experiences. And so absolutely looking at those, it's such a big piece of self-acceptance. And the more that we accept self, the more that we accept others and have more compassion and just feel good, which is, I think, the end goal. Like, I just want to feel good.
We all want to feel good.
Tell me how to feel good.
So if you're on live with us, comment in the thread. One lucky winner today again will be receiving a free copy of Lynn's 30 Day to Me book, which is really, as you can see, just so beautiful and phenomenal. And to the end of November 30th, all books through Sacred Stories Publishing are 20% off, Lynn's being one of them. So another special bonus for everyone. So Lynn, just mention a couple of the kind of the day topics that we dig into so people have an even better idea of what's in store.
Yeah. Well, I'll start with even just the first one, which is one of my favorites because it's the first one and it sort of sets the tone for the book of creating a joy list. You know, and I get people who, you know, email me from things I write, you know, from all over the world, and they're just like, what do I do? What do I do? I feel so disconnected. I've got this easy idea for you. Not mine, I share, whatever. It's this easy idea of make a list of things that you like to do. What are things that bring you joy? What are they? What are things that you like to do when you were as a kid? What are things you like to do now? And if you don't know what you like to do, interview other people. Ask them what they like to do. Because sometimes we get so disconnected. It's like, I don't even know what I like anymore. Ask other people, what do you like to do? Try new things. It's sort of that process of dating self, right? When we go on a date with other people, we're going to learn about other people, find out what they like, and we're trying on what they like to get to know them. That's what we're doing for ourselves. Make a list of things you like, keep adding to it, and then commit to doing those things every single day. Do one thing that brings you joy, whether it's for 5 minutes or 10 minutes, for a day or a week. I don't care. Just do something. Create that habit of looking at, what do I want today, as opposed to what do I not want today, and start to shift that focus a little bit. That's going to help connect to self. That's going to help change brain chemistry and change our physiology and change how we view life. And that's incredibly powerful. So I could go on and on about that one forever.
Yeah.
But another one of my, sorry?
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Another one of my favorite days, and this is one I go back to often, more in my head now than writing it out, is actually day 12. And it's about worrying. It's about thinking of all the things, all the negative things that could happen. You know, and I think that many people, myself included, get into these places of, what's going to happen next? What if this happens? We're always planning for like that worst case scenario. Whenever there's a question mark, we sort of fill in the blank of what the worst possible thing that can happen to like put a period in. So what this particular day talks about is worry and what that is. And the activity is to write a letter to your younger self, whether it be a week ago or 6 months ago or 6 years ago. What were the things that you were worrying about were so big that were going to happen? And what did happen or what didn't happen? 97%, and I mean it, percent of the time, none of those things that we worry about ever come to be. So this letter is talking about, what did you learn in that week? Or what did you learn in that 6 months or 6 years? What's going to happen? What are the things that you're going to see over time? So you can go back and say, look how all these things I worry about never came to be. So is it possible? Is it possible that things actually work out and that life is designed in your favor? We're looking for proof, right? Tell me I don't need to feel fear. Here it is. Let's develop it right here. So that's one of my favorites. I use that one all the time.
Great. Give us one more. Give us one more. And while you're picking it, I'm going to remind everyone, if you're on with us, say hello in the thread. So one lucky winner will get a copy of Lynn's book, 30 Days to Me, a working book to living a serendipitous life. Right? Life meant for joy, a life that is meant for you, is working for you.
Correct. Not happening to you, but for you. I just jumped over another one. Oh my gosh, there's so many that I like. That's a good thing. I think that's a good sign.
I think all 30 are great. And I just want to say, while you're picking, and then I would just say just pick any, because I think they're all amazing. The idea of writing 30 things down that you like to do, I don't know that I could pick 30. I think that's a challenge in and of itself, is for people to find 30 things that they like to do, because I do believe that we do get disconnected from our lives. We have all the have-tos instead of the want-tos. And I think it's really important that we reconnect to, you know, the things that do bring us joy, bring us peace, bring us contentment. So
and that's the sort of just coming down to, you know, I think I'll talk about that more than even a day, because there's just, honestly, there's so many that would be perfect, and I would go on and on and on, and I don't want to do that. So I just want to go back to the serendipitous piece of, again, a lot of the fear piece that I think that we kind of live in a fear-based society. You watch the news and all, you know, fear sells. So that's what we're drawn to, like, tell me how to protect myself kind of a thing. And so when we look at living serendipitously, it is about taking the everyday experiences and finding the sort of deeper meanings. And so maybe you're not going to sit and analyze, like, man, why does that happen? That person crossed the road and flipped me off. What's the deeper meaning of that? Maybe not that. But when you start to feel the things that feel good, the more that you practice seeing the good in the days that you're having more of those moments, you begin to have a greater awareness. So you are starting to focus on exactly what you said, the things that are going well, as opposed to things that aren't going well. And as you begin to create that process, that habit, it starts to shift your perspective a bit. And that's just so, so powerful. And that's an ongoing theme throughout the book. So I could tell you, 10, 15 days that I think are fantastic. But that's actually really one of my favorite parts about the book, is keeping that track of that and seeing that proof, truly the proof that life is designed for us. And that's going to, coupled with doing things that bring you joy every day, man, that's powerful enough in itself. The other stuff is just like this phenomenal bonus.
Show the book cover again. Let's wrap up with the book cover, because it is a beautiful book. 30 Days to Me, a working book to living a serendipitous life by Lynn Reilly. It is truly, it's our brand new book from Sacred Stories Publishing. It is life-changing. It is a gift. I know that because I've read it, and it is a gift to ourselves, and I believe, and to someone you love, because I believe that is truly the most important thing. When we are back in the joy, when we're back in loving ourselves, we are even our best selves for everyone else, right? And that's most important.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
Lynn Reilly, how can people find you? Tell them your website. Lynn's also the host of our new podcast on Sacred Stories Media, Living Serendipitously. So, another episode's coming out on Wednesday. So,
tomorrow.
Right. Check out Lynn's podcast on Sacred Stories Media, Living Serendipitously. And Lynn, what's your website where people can get in touch with you?
Livingwithserendipity.com. Nice and long.
Nice and
beautiful.
easy to remember. It's all about a serendipitous life. So, Lynn Reilly, thank you so very much for being with us today on our
Thank you.
Author Summit. Yeah, all good
Thanks,
stuff.
I appreciate it.
Thanks, everyone, for watching. Say hello or goodbye in the comments so we can pick our lucky winner of our 30 Days to Me free book. And again, 30 Days to Me is available through Sacred Stories Publishing, Amazon, Barnes & Noble, worldwide. So you can find it everywhere. So until next time, we will be back actually at 1:30 with our next author. So until then, I will say, we'll say bye for now, and we will see you soon. Thanks.
Thanks.